This is a story without a set ending, so it's pretty much whenever I feel like writing onto it, it's gonna happen. But it's just a mix of a whole bunch of shows and stuff that I watch, but I hope that you'll enjoy it. So here is chapter 1. Is it really him? Aunix's point of view. I was quickly running through town square, trying to get the supplies I bought back home. I really wanted to get there as fast as possible because I was supposed to prepare supper today. I know I'm very clumsy when it comes to schedule, but there were some cute baby kittens. I just had to stop and pet them. I was running so fast through the crowd, I didn't realize somebody was in front of me. I crashed into the person, stumbling to the ground. I looked up, surprised that the person didn't fall along with me, too. Sorry, I stammered embarrassedly. This tall man with raven black hair looked at me and gave me a small grin. Just about when I thought my anxiety would get the best of me, I seen a boy poke his head out from behind the man. The familiar face of Seal Phantom Hive, his livid colored hair and his bright blue eye peeking through his bangs. He looked very different though. He looked like he hated the world. I wouldn't blame him. He had lost everything in that fire with his parents. Though giving people pity for their losses will do nothing. I hadn't realized I had been lost in my thoughts when I seen Ciel. He was waving his hand in front of my face as I snapped back into reality. Hello? Is anyone in there? Ciel said sarcastically as I collected myself together. The things I needed to do and my best friend I thought to be dead a year ago. Yeah, sorry. You just reminded me of somebody is all, I said, not wanting to jump to conclusions if he were Ciel or not. That's because I'm probably that somebody, nitwit, he said coldly. You're Ciel Phantom Hive? I asked, uncertain if that's what he was implying of who he was. Yes, it is I, Ciel Phantom Hive, the Queen's guard dog, he said bluntly. I couldn't help but smile wide and hug my dear old friend Ciel. I missed him so much. I was so worried that he was dead. The newspaper said nobody survived, but something happened that I didn't expect to happen. But he pushed me off of him. He loved my hugs. Or at least I thought. Get off of me, he yelled. I felt like crying. I get scared when people yell at me. I just wanted a hug. Why does he have to be so mean about it? I stood in silence, keeping my tears in. Then the tall man bowed. The tall man in black bowed. I'm very sorry we have to cut this short, but we have some business to attend to, the man in black said. Wait, before you go, what is your name? I asked the man in black. He grinned. Sorry for being impolite and not introducing myself. My name is Sebastian Michaelis, he said happily. I gave him a smile. I might as well tell him my name as well. That's a beautiful name. Mine's Aunix Hatake, I said as I waved goodbye, taking my groceries home. Time skipped to the manor. As I walked up the steps, I could hear Blair making some trouble for the others. She is quite mischievous. I guess it's in her cat nature. But before I could reach for the handle, somebody opened the door. Welcome home, Aunix. I was beginning to think you might have lost your way, Zhongli said with concern laced in his voice. I'm okay. I just ran into an old friend was all, I replied as I walked to the kitchen and set the groceries down. Ran into an old friend, Well, that's always nice, isn't it? Zhongli asked. Yeah, it is. I smiled and began working on dinner. I set the table and had dinner ready. I searched around for everybody. Zhongli was already at the table, politely waiting for everybody else. I looked back at him and seen his golden eyes flash with happiness. He could be very intense or very happy. It depended on the situation. But I do wonder why he keeps his rat tail, though. I also thought it was fascinating that his brown hair fades into gold-like color. I made my way up onto the roof where I knew Xiao would be. He likes his alone time from everybody, that introvert. I seen him sitting with his knees to his chest. As I walked up, his black and dark green hair flipped nearly whacking him in his eyes, as his golden eyes watched my movements with curiosity. His pupils are shaped like diamonds. I'm surprised other humans haven't sent him to a lab or something by now, but I think he kept himself well hidden. Dinner's ready, Xiao, I told him as I scooted down the roof to him. You know I don't eat the food you humans usually eat, he said nonchalantly. But I have almond tofu, I said as I poked his side. I know you want some. I gave him a mischievous grin. He sighed and looked up. Fine, but I only want some almond tofu, he said while climbing in a window. I yelled out after him. The almond tofu is all yours, Xiao. I climbed into the window too to find Blair, the last of my servants. Well, I think of them more as friends than servants. I checked Blair's usual spot under my bed, but she wasn't there. So I walked around checking her hiding spots, trying to hurry before the food gets cold. She pounced on me out of nowhere, not wearing a single article of clothing. Blair, I told you to wear clothes when you're in your human form, I scolded the young Nico. She looked up at me with her pouty gold-brown eyes as her purple bangs drooped over her face. But clothes are so uncomfortable. Why do humans wear those restricting things? She said. I sighed and took her to her room and throwing some clothes at her, indicating her to put them on. She pouted the whole time, but put them on. People wear clothes because everyone isn't supposed to see everything on your body. It's improper, I explained to Blair as she dresses. When she was dressed, we made it to the table and ate dinner. Blair sat on my lap, feeding me like a child. I have no idea why she enjoys it so much, but I just gave in eventually. Zhongli would talk about the past 1,000 years ago and how this wine doesn't taste as good as Amanthus wine. Then Sha was living it up with the almond tofu. Wouldn't even let Blair have any, which made me laugh. We all went to bed, full and happy. I wish it could have been that way when I was younger, but I should just leave the past in the past. Blair curled up next to me and snuggled closely as she fell asleep. I stared at the ceiling. I thought to myself that I should go to the Phantom Hive Manor tomorrow and pay CL a visit.